It was an interesting journey to figure out how to tell the story of somebody gaining confidence in their own voice with a dialogue that is so iconic in a way.
I'm not really sure what year it was. I know I still had my dollhouse. It looked just like our real house. Some dolls were always busy. Others were always doing the important work. There is a little girl doll. That's me.
Very, very cute hair. Thanks. Yours too. My socks, I look like I have that head.
Back then, we still believed in this world. I guess it's easier to accept a story than believe that the people around you are monsters.
Set in the oppressive dystopia of Gilead and based on the novel by writer Margaret Atwood, The Testaments is a sequel to its successful predecessor, also based on an Atwood creation, The Handmaid's Tale, which first introduced the world of imposed order and regulation of women. This new series follows the coming-of-age story of Agnes, played by actress Chase Infinity, hot on the heels of her breakout performance in what was her first ever professional feature film role, in one battle after another, which earned her a Best Actress Golden Globe nomination. Agnes is one of a new generation of Gilead girls, primed for the singular purpose of marriage, and hers is a story of discovery of identity and female emancipation through unexpected bonds.
Silva arrives in Nigeria. Now, the women of The Handmaid's Tale were aware that they lived in an oppressive existence. The girls of the Testaments do not. And this series explores what happens as they come to that realization. So when you have to play a character who you have to chart the evolution of her, but the progression through that evolution is more graduated and nuanced as opposed to declarative. Did it make it more challenging for you to do that?
I don't think so, because I find the nuances and subtleties that Agnes kind of showcases within the story to be I guess more fascinating than grandiose kind of realizations. And also that's the more human way to attack it and the more human way to approach it, because there's so much that people do and so much that people say by just the subtle nuances of their face. And so I think that was something that that I was very excited to do and show that real element of who she is, but also just that real element of being a person.
Agnes Mackenzie, this is Daisy. Make her feel comfortable.
Daisy,
Where do you hail from?
Canada. I imagine Canada's very different from here. Which makes me wonder, what did you come here for?
Never quite as it seems. Never quite as it seems.
We gather here tonight to bring women back to their rightful place.
When I open up and see.
I have to save those girls.
With the generational shift from the young women of Handmaid's Tale to the young girls of the Testaments, there is a new narrative landscape to explore old themes of enlightenment, emancipation, and liberation. In the elite preparatory school that the young girls attend, there is hierarchy and alliances once again. And this is explored centrally through Agnes and the character of Daisy, played by actress Lucy Halliday. One girl comes from inside Gilead, and one girl comes from outside Gilead. And their differences are the catalyst for the evolution of their relationship and a journey of self-discovery. It also provides the foundation for a new and youthful perspective on female empowerment.
But bouncing off that, when you all the discourse around women and girls, the topics of duty and obligation always come up. But duty and obligation can only be fulfilled when one has agency. And your character speaks to an examination of that. So I was curious as an actor playing that role, did you find that it created a kind of intimacy between you and the audience when you knew your character speaks a language that can be uniquely understood by women?
That's a great question. Oh my God. I think that something that I found to be very interesting, especially with like the language that they use in the show and how I guess popularized it's become also like in our society because of how loved the show is. Getting to use that type of language, but also feeding in the fact that this girl is slowly finding her own voice throughout the story. That was something that I was very intrigued and fascinated by, because it's kind of hard to find your voice in this world that is so specific with its language. And I remember that was something that I really had trouble with at the beginning, is figuring out how am I going to kind of tell this progression of her having the confidence in her voice, her finding her own voice, but within the confines of this dialect and of this dialogue. And through conversations with Bruce, our showrunner, and through conversations with also Elizabeth Moss, I really kind of, it opened up my world to what they were saying and the way that they say it, and also the subtleties and differences of the way that they tell things and explain things in this world. But it was an interesting journey to figure out how to tell the story of somebody gaining confidence in their own voice with a dialogue that is so iconic in a way. If that makes any sense. I hope it does.
It makes complete sense. I'm allergic to sequels, but I actually prefer the testaments to Handmaid's Tale. Tell no one. But I do. Congratulations. Very important.
Thank you.
Just get close to her.
Changed ever since she's been around. Can't that be a good thing?
Why is everybody being so touchy?
Nobody cares what we want.
This is our whole lives.
There comes a time when you have to take action, when you have to choose your own destiny.
Your body will tempt you into impulsive decisions.
We need to destroy everything.
We had no idea what we were capable of. It was time for us to change things.
'Cause you're a dream to me.